it's me, Roxanne, and I'm back today with a product review. This is a storage item that I use and became familiar with from work. I had a black plastic one where I would store all of my pens and pencils and other small items like paper clips and things like that for work. And I did a little research and found that I could get a clear plastic one. So this is inexpensive, it's small and portable. I take this and sit it next to me at my sewing machine and keep all of my items handy, like my seam ripper. And I also keep this on my cutting table, and then I can move it off quickly if I want to lay out fabric or patterns and things. So stay tuned where I walk you through this fabulous item. Here is a seam gauge that most of us are familiar with, and I want to measure this caddy for size so you can understand how small and compact this is. This organizer is only about 6 inches tall, it's only about 6 inches wide, and it's about 5 inches deep. So it's very compact, it doesn't take up a lot of room, and it holds a whole lot of items. As some of you know, I'm a production pattern maker, so I like to leave this organizer on my cutting table so that I can have all of my pattern making tools right at my fingertips. But the other reason why I love this organizer is that I can pick the whole thing up because it's small, and I can sit it next to me at my sewing machine, and I can have all kinds of extra things that I may need at my fingertips while I'm sewing. So let me show you everything that I have this wonderful little organizer loaded with. This storage organizer has 3 compartments in the back, and it has 2 compartments in the front on top, and then it has 3 swing out drawers. I will show you those after I show you the top sections. On the right you have a shallower segment for smaller items. I have my pattern notcher here, which I use as a pattern maker. Of course, I have a seam ripper because I like to have that handy when I'm at my sewing machine. My seam gauge. This is an awl, and this is a tool I use as a professional pattern maker to mark darts and different markings for pockets and welt placements and things like that. And then I have a glue stick, which is something that I use very often to put pattern paper together with. In the center compartment, I have marking tools. You know that I like that disappearing ink pen, and I always have one of those handy, as well as highlighters, which I like to highlight my size when I'm putting together a PDF pattern. And then various other pencils and markers for marking all kinds of things. Then in the last compartment on the far left, which is the deepest, I have my paper cutting shears, my needle pointed tracing wheel, which I use as a pattern maker to transfer markings and such. I have my favorite rotary cutter, a very small one that helps me cut tight curves nicely. And I have a regular tracing wheel. And then I have my regular cutting scissors. In the bottom of each one of these segments, I've cut a piece of foam because I don't want any of my cutting tools to be sitting on plastic where they could become damaged. Now in the front 2 sections, I have another marking tool, an eraser, and these are some leads for when I like to use my mechanical pencils. A tape measure, we always need to have one of those handy. And then I like to keep some post-it notes because sometimes I'm working with something and I want to make a little note and then I have to run away to catch the phone or get on a call, and I don't want to forget things. So let me show you what I have in the lower swing out drawers. Now in the lower drawers, I have other useful items. I keep my pins on the right side, and I've cut a magnet to go underneath my pins to keep them a little bit more secure. This is the compartment probably that I use the most because I like to have this sitting on my cutting table and open while I stand at my dress form and I do draping. So this is a really helpful little compartment. In this compartment, I keep some different tools for when I'm sitting at my sewing machine. I'll have my seam guide, my magnetic seam guide. I like to keep a couple of sewing feet in there and needles, sewing machine needles, and I'll even keep an extra bobbin, especially if I'm working on a project. Then on the bottom, I have a couple more marking tools. This is just a blue chalk and a couple other different chalks. On the other side, I have another measuring tape. On this side, I have some clips, which I know are very popular with sewists now. I also have a couple other little tools. This is a tweezer that came with one of my sergers, and I find it very handy to have next to my machine when I'm sewing, just to pull a thread out from the machine or something. And I also have my bodkin for when I'm feeding elastic or something through an area. I've used this a lot lately with mask making. I feed my t-shirt yarn through the sides of my masks, and it makes things very easy. And then on the bottom drawer, I have some of those black acrylic clips in a few different sizes. I like to use these when I'm pattern making to keep all my pieces together and organized. I've gone ahead and I've put my organizer next to my Singer Quantum Stylus 9960 so that you can see the size and scale and how compact this organizer is. You can go ahead and customize it with all of the items that you like to keep handy next to you when you sew. So thank you for stopping by my channel and watching my latest product review. I always appreciate your likes and shares, and leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or comments on what I shared today. So as always, have a happy, creative day. Bye now.